human resource systems that are more like Facebook and Twitter. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Dr. Sanja Licina, Future of Organizations Practice Lead at Globant. Welcome, Sanja.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, what is Globant known for, and what does the Future of Organization Practice Lead do there?
So Globant is a digitally native organization, and we're probably best known for creating just absolutely amazing digital experiences for consumers. But one of the things that maybe we're a little less known for is the organizational culture that we build not only inside our organization, but actually partner with our large clients to help them create the absolute best place for their employees to work while they continue to digitally transform and grow.
Globant just released a study titled Powering a People First Culture. So, start by telling us about the scope of the research that went into the study and like how many employees did you survey and over what companies and industries and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we actually sampled 1,000 employees in the US that were in all different industries, all different size companies. About half of the sample had global offices in 20 plus countries. We talked to a lot of individual contributors and we talked to a lot of managers just to be able to get perspectives also from all different levels of the organization.
9 out of 10 respondents said that hiring and attrition at their companies was the problem, right? So, what role does human resource technology play in solving or creating those problems?
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's such an interesting labor market today because I've been in this field for a long time and I've seen it just transform tremendously over the years. Where about a decade ago, when we were looking for jobs, a lot of times it was difficult to find information about an organization. And now almost everything that happens inside those walls or virtual walls is known to people everywhere in the world that may be considering employment within an organization. And so with the technology, the way that it fits in, it really helps the company, one, realize what kind of culture they want to build for their employees, what kind of space do they want it to be, and then also take that information and really be able to transmit it to those outside of the walls as well. So how do you create an absolutely amazing place for employees to work? And then how do you really help them tell that story externally? So that way, not only do you keep your best people, but you're able to really get the people who are passionate about their careers and saying, I don't want just another job. I really want a career and I want a company where I can make a difference. How you use those news, that information to get those best, most passionate people to come work for you.
What did your study find related to employees establishing close connections with their peers?
Yeah, absolutely. So we found that 62% of employees actually wanted to know their colleagues better. And to us, that was really interesting because you would think intuitively, well, you spend so much time with people around you. Of course, you'd want to build those connections. But to us, the number was actually really high because people were telling us not only are their colleagues important, but they're really looking for better ways to connect. So, what is that opportunity that maybe you're sitting next to someone and you sit down, but your days are so full of meetings and your agendas are full, and you don't have an opportunity to really connect with them, maybe at all, or definitely not at a more personal level. So, how can we start to take down those barriers, no matter whether a person is sitting next to you across the room or is in a completely different country? That's what people were really telling us is they're looking for better ways to get to know their colleagues better.
What did the study find related to recognizing employee contributions and how does that actually impact or tie into turnover?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the other things that we saw that was interesting related to connection is most studies you find in this area will say, people don't necessarily leave companies, they leave bad managers. But what we found in our data, going back to the connections, is that actually peer-to-peer connections were so incredibly powerful. And I feel like that based on my experience, it's one of the areas that organizations really pay attention to the least. And so when it comes to connections and when it comes to recognition, one of the things that it's really powerful and more that the way that the world of work is transforming, we still spend time with our managers, but we spend so much more time with our peers as well. So the idea of hearing that you did something really well or you really made a difference no longer really needs to come from your leader, but it can come from anybody around you, anybody that you interact with. And so what we're finding is that it was 97% of people that said feeling appreciated for their work was really important. And so in creating those connections and coupling that with giving people the ability to really thank somebody very publicly for a job well done and recognize them, the combination can be incredibly powerful in how satisfied people are, how engaged they are, and just really their overall experience in the workplace.
And I definitely think that's something that's overlooked way too often. What lessons can employers take from platforms like Facebook and Twitter?
So, one of the things that we really saw when it comes to different platforms is a lot of organizations are investing in different HR systems. And so, a lot of the companies I talk with will say, we have 10, 20 different kinds of systems. We're trying to streamline, we're trying to figure out which one exactly does what. But one of the things that we found in our study is that actually 74% of respondents said that they would be more open to using a technology at work if it felt like something they use day to day to stay connected with their families, to get things done. And so it really shows there's a lot of talk about design thinking and human-centered design in the industry, but it really shows this tremendous opportunity for organizations to continue to either create or really look for platforms that give that experience that people are used to in their personal lives, because that's what's going to really help transform their organization. Because one of the things we often hear is, but we're giving our people all these different tools and platforms, but we're really struggling with usage. When it comes down to the interactions are just not what people are used to. They have to go through 10 different steps to get something done, or it's not about building relationships, it's about keeping systems of record. So there really is this tremendous opportunity from us to learn about what is it that people are used to using day to day, and then transform that to the organization. And that's really a lot of what we do in our philosophy is how do we make sure that people that are using them for me that are using these systems have just an amazing experience, and that it's something that's very parallel to what they're used to doing day to day.
Dr. Sanja Licina, Future of Organizations Practice Lead at Globant. Thanks for giving us some insight on this study. And if somebody wants maybe a copy of the study, or maybe they would just want to connect with you personally, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm certainly on LinkedIn, so you can look me up at Sanja Licina, or you can email me at sanja.licina@globant.com, and I will be more than happy to share the study and also share any additional best practices or brainstorms around what we found and how we're approaching building culture.
Thanks again. And if you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here or go to tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.